So I bought this 96 e150 conversion van. It was for one owner. He bought it new and he was retired and he took great care of it. It had some paint issues, but that's it. Mechanically, it was perfect. I couldn't believe how good a condition it was in. The interior was that classic look, the wood, big heavy wood grain and carpet from the 80s and 90s. It was a conversion van with the speakers. It had a TV and a VCR up front. I couldn't believe it. It was still in there when I got it. I took it out. That's the space where the TV was. I took out that wood piece, and it's just now an open storage. The front two seats, I left the way they were. The entire front cab I left the way it is. But the carpet, these guys hauled animals in there for a 4-H or something. You could see animal urine stains on it. And the old back seat laid down into a bed, but it wasn't anything I could use for camping. It was really out of the way, in the way. You see all this stuff, this giant wood and lights and storage compartments in there. They were terrible. They were a terrible use of space. So I just went to work with a screwdriver and started taking it apart. It was a lot of work. I was surprised at how much stuff came out of there. Nothing was hard. It was nothing technical or difficult. Mostly it was Phillips screws. Say hi.
Hi.
So after I got all the seats out and unbolted, which you have to unbolt them from underneath the van, there was still, every time I worked on it, there was a giant pile of stuff I had to take and haul away. Every day I would haul away more. When I got to this point, I started looking at the van. I thought, oh my gosh, what did I do to this thing? But it finally started looking a little more cleaned up. This is when I had the floor finally cleaned. The walls weren't quite gone there, but they weren't that hard to take out. And when the floor was clean, I sanded it down and painted any rust. And I used these 1x2 strips of wood. I glued them to the floor. You can see all those white spots is that rubber that the guy makes a boat out of screen doors and he covers it with rubber on the commercial. That's what I used. I wanted to make sure I sealed up any spots so that they couldn't rust. And I didn't bolt or screw the strips to the bed. I just glued them down with a heavy industrial glue. I just didn't want to make places that could rust in the future. And I put cross strips ever so often, and I laid this 1-inch foam insulation in between it and used this very expensive foil vapor barrier tape to seal it up so that it didn't get any moisture underneath it. And on top of that, I laid 3/4 inch, it's subfloor. It's wafer board, but it's not the normal wafer board you think of where if you get it wet, it swells up and bubbles. This stuff's solid as a rock. Laid it down, cut it into the shapes of the van floor. It fits perfectly. I screwed the subfloor into the wooden strips, but not into the wood of the van. And you can see here, I had built these. I needed a frame to put the wall up. I've got insulation behind these foam panels. You can't see the insulation in this picture, but in the next one, you'll be able to see it. Because on the other picture, the other side of the van, you can see how I painted the window black. When they built the conversion van, they cut out the two walls of the side, or they cut out the inner wall to build the ledge with the speakers and the controls on it. So I put that cross beam in there. I glued it in. Then I screwed in these strips so I could form a wall. You can see I painted the window black. And I put the insulation that was from the roof. I stuffed that in there. And then I put in these two 1-inch foam boards for more insulation against the window. And for the roof, I needed cross beams so that I could run insulation crossways. So I glued these little blocks to the roof, and they're kind of at an arch. That 2x4 is just holding the blocks up there till the glue sticks. And then I cut these notches just a little ways in with a circular saw, actually with a table saw, and it allows it's plywood, so it allows it to bend just enough in an arch that when I put it up against the top of the ceiling, it kind of follows the contour of the roof. I mean, it only gave me a little bit extra, a couple inches room, but it follows the contour. You can see when I put it up there, touching the edge pieces, then I have to push the middle up, but it goes up there in the shape of the roof because those notches allow that board to curve, as you'll see in the next picture. And then the piece in the very end looks like it's angled really sharply, but it's not. It's curved almost, see, you can see it right there. It's curved with the shape of the van. I think the picture just distorted it. And I ran the insulation across sideways and stapled it up there. Take a look at that side. There's my doggy. This is it's particle board or wafer board or something. It's not regular wafer board like you get it. It's subfloor. It's for flooring. See, the kayak fits perfect. I just slide it right in there. Whenever I go camping, I take the kayak out and chain it to the car, chain it to the van. You can see I got the roof done. Well, I'll say done. I got the insulation on the roof. It's not done. It's really not even enough to keep out the heat. So I haven't gone into really extreme weather yet, but I hope to this summer. When I was planning to build out, I was planning on putting the sink drop down inside this wheel well and have it come out to about here, because I only need a certain amount of space, you know, one door side to get in. But on my first trip, and I'm glad I took it before I finished building it out, because on my first trip I found myself at the campsite sitting right here most of the time. Sitting right here. Sometimes this door was closed or almost closed, and whenever I needed, it was cold or needed privacy, I can always close the door. This was a very convenient spot, especially since when the weather was nice. It was easy to get in and out. All my stuff was right here. I had the coolers and the food was right here, so it was easy for me to prepare. And I was parked next to a picnic table, so I did eat out there, but I don't want to put that sink in this spot anymore. So I'm glad I took it before I went camping. And I can't wait until you get the bed finished, the framed out on the inside. I take a foam mattress with me and lay it down inside here. But it's crowded, it's cramped when I try to move around, when the mattress is unfolded. If I had the bed built out, it would give me a lot more space. But that's, you know, one of the biggest things I could say is take your van camping. As soon as you strip it out, you've got a little bit of a little space inside. Do it in nice weather, because you know the heat, the air conditioner, you probably won't have in there. But you're not. You may have an idea from watching videos about how you're going to want the van built out, but you really don't know until you take yours and see how you use it. So keep checking out my channel for more videos. I'll post more about how the rest of the van build goes, the walls and the ceiling and the floor. We're getting ready to put down the tile on the floor next. So stay tuned and watch for more. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.